And on to details now. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to address the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament, on Monday. In response to last week's address by the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, during the opening of the budget session. With the general elections to elect the next Indian government around the corner, PM Modi's statement in the Parliament in response to the discussion on the motion of thanks on the President's address is expected to be a significant one. He's likely to talk about the various steps taken by BJP-led NDA government led by him in various sectors including social, infrastructure and economic development. President Murmu had addressed a joint session comprising the two houses of Parliament at the beginning of the session on Wednesday, and a discussion on the motion of thanks has been on in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of Parliament, since then. And India's correspondent Vikas Sarthi joins us for more. Well, Vikas, PM Modi is likely to address the Lok Sabha today. What else is lined up?
Right, Lepakshi, Prime Minister is expected to give a detailed reply on this motion of thanks in the evening at around 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. It is expected that Prime Minister will give a detailed reply on this whole debate. Some of the opposition MPs raised issues, and some, in fact, made a very scathing attack on the government policy. So we expect that Prime Minister will reply point by point on all those issues which were raised by particularly opposition MPs. Apart from it, Lepakshi, today in the Lok Sabha, a bill related to preventing the unethical means or unfair means in the central government employment related examinations is likely to be introduced by Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh. Now, this bill aims to stop these kind of practices which we have been witnessing for several decades now. Like just before the examination papers got leaked, in some cases it was found that there was reports of use of unfair means in those examinations, and now, to curb all these practices, now this bill will give a detailed guideline that how to stop these practices. In fact, 20 such acts have been identified as offences in this particular bill, and in fact, it proposes that any person which is found guilty of those practices can be punished for an imprisonment of 10 years, and it can be fined up to 1 crore rupees. So this bill is likely to be introduced today itself, and what we saw on the last working day on Friday, we saw that number of MPs put their point on the President's address, and in fact Lok Sabha worked till 9 p.m. To accommodate all member of parliaments, and today some MPs will give their view, will address the House, and later in the evening Prime Minister will give a detailed reply.
Well, as you said, the discussion has been on in the motion of thanks in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Can you tell us more about that?
Right, Lepakshi. So a number of member of parliaments from the government side, from the BJP party and the opposition MPs spoke on Friday, and we expect that some of the MPs which were left on Friday will speak today. As we saw that at some point in time, ministers also intervened that whatever opposition MPs are stating about the state of the economy or India's diplomacy are incorrect and are biased. And in fact, a number of MPs gave figures and outcomes of their ministries in the past 5 years, and some data related to the Modi government's performance in the last decade, in last decades, which related to the promoting startups in India, creating an environment for ease of doing business, ease of living. All these things were discussed by the Treasury MPs, Treasury bench MPs, and the opposition MPs were of the view that still there are some areas where government has not given that much funds or that much attention which was expected. So all these allegations, counter allegations, we saw during the previous discussion. But when Prime Minister will give a detailed reply, you will get all those figures, all those initiatives which were started by the Modi government since 2014. Again, the achievements will be discussed in the parliament, and we expect that it is going to be a lengthy reply since we are in an election year, and Prime Minister will give a kind of report card, you can say, kind of report card what his government has done in the past decade.
All right, all eyes on the Prime Minister's reply today in the evening. Thank you so much for that information.